Welcome to our podcast, How Hard Can It Be? I am Carlos Guerrero, your host, and I'm here with Evelyn, which is going to talk to us about how hard can it be to be a woman in construction. Hello, Evelyn. How you doing?
Hi, Carlos. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being on the show, Evelyn. So, Evelyn, tell us, how did you get in the construction industry?
So, I'm 27 years old, and I know in a lot of people's eyes, I'm very young, but I don't come from a family in construction. However, ever since I was young, I was very interested in the development of buildings, how Miami has changed throughout the years. I started architecture and got my master's degree. And I used to work in a commercial insurance company where most of my clients were general contractors. They own buildings, they own restaurants, they did home remodeling. And during the pandemic, I was working at home and one of my clients called me to renew his insurance policy. And I got along with him, and all of a sudden he's like, I think you have the potential to do more than what your career offers. So I started doing research, and I was like, you know what? Yes, like I do want to do more than what my career offers. I want to get more opportunities. I want to grow. And that's how I started looking into cutting edge and seeing, the value or the benefits that it has and everything that can bring, to the table.
Who's Cutting Edge?
So Cutting Edge is a luxurious home improvement company, and they exceed their clients' expectations.
Nice. Okay, so basically you went to school for
Interior architecture. I got my master's.
and you work in an insurance company. Then you're like, you know what? I could do more than what I'm doing now. You basically find this company, Cutting Edge. You get hired. You start working for Cutting Edge. Then what happens next?
So I remember my boss, or what I call my mentor now, he's like, you know what? I think you can do more than what your position was.
What was your position?
At that time? I was just doing drafting and accounting.
Oh, nice.
Even though my resume had nothing to do with that. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, put me to the challenge. And he's like, here, start running projects, start doing pre-construction. And that's how we develop, my position.
Which is?
Project manager.
Okay, so you're a full-time project manager for Cutting Edge, and you run your own projects.
Correct.
Now, what has been the challenges being a woman running a project? Because I'm assuming that when you're running projects, there's a lot of men in the industry of men. What has been your challenges?
So one of my challenges, and that's something that I face on, every day in most of my projects, is managing my subcontractors. They're all men. They all have different characters. Sometimes they're very disorganized. And as a woman, I feel like we bring to the table different thoughts, different process, more of a problem-solving skills that we have. And I don't view myself as a woman in construction. The way I find respect, from my male peers is by, my character, by what I bring to the table, by my professionalism, my work ethics. And that's something that they respect from me.
So how is it that you earn people's respect? If you had to give somebody advice, like maybe somebody that wants to get into the business, a girl, a woman that's shy, that she doesn't think that this is for her, what will you tell her?
I think developing confidence, matters. That's one. Sometimes we're very hard on ourselves and we don't think we're confident enough to do something. That's one. The other thing is having a very clear communication especially with subcontractors and men. Yeah. Having respect for them as well. As men, sometimes if you don't respect them, if you don't respect their time, it becomes a little bit of a challenge. So those are three main keys that I think.
So it'll be confidence, communication, and respect.
Correct.
Now, how do you build the confidence when somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing? Because even myself, sometimes when I do something that I never done, it's kind of hard to build the confidence because you don't have the experience. So how do you, with no experience, how do you build the confidence? Is it by you train yourself? Do you talk to people? Do you take some kind of classes? What does Evelyn do to build the confidence?
I think everything starts with your mind. your mindset, and not worry so much about failure. At the end of the day, a failure is just experiences, and that's the way I think. Lack of experience comes within failure.
Yes.
So
I feel
listening and being confident and pushing hard and working hard and bringing yourself back up and okay, let me do it again. So those are things that I feel like that.
It's so true what you say, because in my career, I feel that the failures have made me who I am today. That I have learned from the failures, and like I love the failures and I love the challenges. So that is so true what you said about the failing part of it, because it resonates with me and who I am today. Now, about the communication and respecting their time, how does a good project manager communicate well with the laborers, with the workers?
One is, again, respecting their time and their schedule. I usually try to communicate with them as early as possible before I know that they're going to the job sites. Having a clear set of plans that they can follow, where they don't have to call me every single time to ask questions. Unless it's something that obviously is big, it's not on the plans, then, answering their phone calls, answering a text message right away so that they're not like, oh, I have to wait for this person to like answer. And so having communication is key, and having a clear set of plans, having a set of schedule for them, and making sure that everything is there so that they're not wasting their time.
Got it. So, I mean, I also have a little bit of construction experience, and I feel the same way. Like, I think people need to understand what everybody's purpose is. And I think their purpose is basically all they want to do is they want to go to the job, get the job done, and go home and get the check at the end of the week. That's how their mentality. So I feel what you're saying is right, because if you're not providing them the right tools, the plans, and telling them what to do, then they basically waste your time.
Yeah, and that wasting someone's time, for me, it's not respect.
Correct.
I don't like to be, my time is valuable. Everybody's time is valuable.
Maybe a couple of things that you love about being a woman in construction, and a couple of things that maybe you hate about being a woman in construction. What will that be?
I think it's not so much about hating, but obviously the challenges that, as a woman in construction brings on a daily basis. But I love the whole idea of learning something every single day, of problem solving. Every day is a challenge. Every day is something new. You don't get bored of it. You have fun. And as long as you see the positive in those problems, everything will run smooth.
Can you give us one of your biggest challenges that you had to deal with, that you had to do a problem solving for? What will that be?
So I'm very proud of my last project that I finished. It was a 4-month project that I had to finish under a lot of pressure.
What kind of pressure?
Had a lot of pressure. Obviously, my client, she's a very good client, but she had to move, at a certain time. So I had a time frame, and it was very challenging for me to have my guys on site, to have plans like perfect and to the point, so that nothing, everything had to be like super perfect. And that became very challenging for me. And sometimes it becomes very stressful. But at the end of that project, it made me realize like all the potential that I actually had.
That's amazing.
And that I can bring to the table, and that, yes, you can do it. Like, yes.
There's nothing you can do as long as you have your mindset to it and you just keep pushing through. So for all the women that are watching here, that they want to get into this business, that they feel that there's going to be a lot of pressure, they hear the stories, they hear you, there is a lot of pressure, but at the end of the day, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. What other advice can you give to them? Like, what you say, don't even do it, or do it, and, just what advice can you give to them?
I think you have to be very passionate about what you want to put your foot in the table. And you have to just build that confidence, and like, hey, I can do it. I can deal with all of this. I can deal with all these men. I can deal with all this disorganization that they have, and I can build my team, and be able to, run a project as smooth as possible. I'm able to have a full communication with my client and trust. And not just trust with my client, but, everybody, my team, my subcontractors. I think it's a great experience, and you learn and you grow as a person, as a business owner. You have challenges every day, and that's just life. But but you can make it. You can make it, and there's a lot of opportunities that this brings.
So it sounds like there's like a lot of communication with different people. You got the homeowners, you have the workers, I guess the architects, the city, the laborers. So you're always on the go. You're always like basically managing and talking to different people. Now, what skills do you feel that a woman in construction as a project manager should have? Like, what are the top skills that you think that they should maybe train for or educate themselves to be a great project manager?
I think organization is key.
Okay.
If you're not organized on a daily basis, everything will fall into place, will not fall into place. And the other thing is, of course, again, communication. Communication is key with everybody. If there's no clear communication, nothing gets solved.
Now, let's talk about communication a little bit before we move forward. Do you feel that the communication between you and the client and the communication between you and the laborers or you and the city are all the same, or do you have to adapt to each?
You have to adapt to every single individual. Every individual is different. Everybody has a different character. You have to be, strong enough to be able to, speak to your client a different way, to speak to the city a different way, to speak to the architect a different way, to speak to your team that will help you get through a different way as well. So you have to change your personality a little bit, and the way that you communicate with each individual should be different.
Now, how do you speak to your client versus your labor?
So my client, I treat them as any friend of mine or a family member, and I think that has helped me have a really good trust with my client, have a clear communication with them. My client is, like I said, my most important. Without my clients, we're not able to go forward a project.
So for you to be a great project manager, what you're saying is that your client, it becomes a friend, a friendship, like a good relationship, like it was your family. And that is your secret.
Yes. I don't treat them in a very, I don't want to say professional, but I treat them as a friend. Like, hey, I'm here for you. Hey, you can talk to me. You can call me at any time. You can text me at any time. Maybe I'm not going to answer right away, but I'll answer, and I'll answer your anything that you need. You can always call me.
That is some great tips from Evelyn. Thank you so much, Evelyn. Is there anything else you want to tell them about, getting into the business?
Face your fears if you have any. Put yourself to the challenge, and that's anything in life, not just in construction, but it's an amazing opportunity, and you grow as a person and as a project manager, as a general contractor.
Evelyn, thank you so much for being part of our show. Guys, thank you for watching. This is Evelyn. Round of applause for her.
Thank you.
It was great having you here today at our show. All your knowledge, all your feedback. I bet that's a lot of women in construction that want to be where you are today. Now, for my viewers out there, if you guys want to get to know Evelyn, talk to Evelyn about any construction projects, she actually is a project manager in Cutting Edge. So you could give us a call or visit us at www.homeremodelmiami.com. Let's go.